Hello, everyone. It is Misha Green, and I am so excited to be here with, I have to give full transparency, a friend of mine, but also a wonderful leader and warrior. And I just can't wait to talk to her. So, this is the amazing and beautiful and wonderful Ranneisha champion, everybody. And before we get started into the nitty gritty, y'all know the routine. We got to share the live because we want to make sure that all our family and friends are tuning in and know the deal. And as I like to say, sharing is caring. And we know that breast cancer is something that is major in the African American community. And Ranneisha is going to talk to us about being a young woman and having this experience, and now all that she's doing as an entrepreneur and educator and warrior and fighter, to make sure that we are prepared and armed with the ability and education to know about breast cancer. So I thank all those who are tuning in. But y'all know what I got to do. I always say sharing is caring. So let me do this with my family and friends as well. And you guys do the same. Okay. It never lets me tag like I'm friends with Ranneisha on Facebook, but it's not letting me tag her now. So we'll do that later. All right, let's do this. All right. So first of all, it's just so good to see you. I have to ask because we're still in the middle of a pandemic and life is crazy. How are you doing?
I am doing as well as I can be. Thank you. But having an immune deficiency, it keeps you in the house anyway. So, and I'm also pregnant. So makes you just stay close and confined. So I'm doing well. My mental and spiritual health is at top notch. So it's good. It has its moments because you miss your people, but for the most part, I think I'm handling it the best way that everyone can possibly handle it. It's like you're waiting for it to be over, but you want people to be as healthy as possible, before we transition out of it.
No, absolutely. But I think it's so important that you mentioned that your mental and spiritual and physical are all doing well. But I think not everyone can be in that place right now. And obviously you've overcome a lot. But before we even go into that, how are you able to stay so positive and just ensure that you are good and your mental and spiritual health is good during this time?
I think with the family that I have and like going to church, and then you have like Bible study and stuff. So we have like a women's group that we stay in contact with. I journal a lot. So just speaking the daily affirmations even prior to COVID, and then having to maintain them throughout. So making sure to like exercise, one, because I'm pregnant. So like yoga and meditating and things of that nature, journaling. So it's more so just like a mental thing to just really say, I'm not going to let this consume me, and breathe. And if it does consume you, it's okay. You know what I mean? Like, you have good days and you have bad days, and you just acknowledge like, okay, this is a little bit overwhelming today. Let's retract. And you just surround yourself with positive people and positive things. And that's how you really get through this, because we can all complain, but it's not going to get us nowhere. So that's really just mentally, you just have to put your mind in that positive mindset, and then do things, eat correctly, you want to put the right things in your body. You want to make sure like at least walking at least or doing something once a week, twice a week. We know you work out every day.
No,
so you're an everyday person. So that right there puts your mind where it needs to be. And that's helpful. People, little do we know, like putting the things that we need in our body, doing the things, giving ourselves that time to say, hey, this is my self-care time. This is what I do for my self-care. What you may do is different. And I may be able to take some things from you, but this is how it's going to help me. So I think that's what's really been able to like help me move this transition along.
So obviously, people have read the caption. Everyone sees we're rocking pink, but COVID is not your first rodeo with a battle. For those tuning in, Ranneisha is. And for those just now tuning in, like I said, I've known her since high school. I've known her since 2005, and I remember when she just so many milestones in her life. And so, one of them was that she battled breast cancer. And I remember reading that post and, really being in tears when she first, posted that she was going through this battle. But there is no one who could fight something like Miss Champion. There's a reason why that's her last name.
Listen.
And just to see you now flourishing and being a leader in this fight and in this awareness is so important to me, and it's so incredibly inspiring. And you're pregnant, and it's just amazing. But take us back, a little bit, share a little bit of your journey and what got you to that place where you found out that you were diagnosed with breast cancer.
Okay, so in 2018 is when I was diagnosed, but like prior, the body tells you that you're going through things. So like my hand was acting up, my stomach, things were just acting up. However, being my age, I have no family history of breast cancer. I was 27, going into 28 at the time. So when I went to the doctor, which I went in April, was my first time going, they completely bypassed it. It was like, that's nothing. You didn't even make an appointment for that. So we're not even here to treat you for this. So, bypass April, May, I felt a lump. But the thing about it is, and it's sad saying it because you're around a bunch of educated people, you believe that you're educated, and you work in a setting and you feel like it's a lump. That's nothing. And that's the worst thing to do. And so that is what happened. So when I first felt my lump, I forgot about it. And when it came time to go to the doctor, and I'm like, okay, so now we're in May. I then went to Atlanta. My cousin got married. I went to Jamaica. I'm literally living my best life. So yeah. June comes, and then I'm like, oh my goodness, this lump is growing. So I go to the emergency room, and I was actually went to the emergency room in June. I was misdiagnosed because it's not the emergency room's fault. They cannot detect if something is cancer. They can only make a recommendation. So I had already seen 3 doctors prior that really did push this to the back burner, because it was like, you have no reason to have, that's more than likely a cyst, which they were called a fibrinoma, which is a benign cyst. It's harmful, and the problem is a lot of people have them. So you just make that assumption to say, that's just a cyst, and that's exactly what they did. It had all of the properties of a cyst. However, so I go to the doctor, I finally get someone to make me a recommendation, which was a man. The 3 women doctors, they were giving me a lot of pushback, and they actually weren't the people who made my recommendation. So just think from
Black women by chance?
They weren't Black women, okay. And it was a white man who called this to the forefront, because even my cycle was off. Everything was being thrown off, and we don't listen to our body. So you're just thinking like, I went and made another appointment for like, want to know what my period is. And he was like, but you have a lump. Let's go ahead and take care of this lump. And so he was the one in the ending of June who had made my referral for me to get a biopsy. And so that is what had jump started. And the doctors did the very one thing that I make sure when I speak to people, especially young Black women in general, you have to be able to advocate for yourself. So in that moment, I had a doctor come in, and she says, they do the biopsy. Yeah, everything is looking like a fibrinoma, and she attempted to diagnose me without having the results. So when I walked out of there from the biopsy, I was really hopeful. Mind you, this entire time, I had no reason to have cancer. I don't drink, I don't smoke, I eat healthy. I actually was like vegan, like partially vegan, kind of leaning into fish at that time because I was dieting.
Okay.
So I was eating and working out, and I was pretty healthy. So all of the like the guidelines or what they say, how what you will get, why you will have cancer, didn't apply to me.
Wow.
So we are just waiting, and then that's when they called me back and they say, like, we need you to come back in for a second biopsy. And in that moment, they called me back and they had to do they tested my lymph nodes. We all need the lymph, like that's underneath of the arm, and it helps move all of the blood and the fluid throughout our body. So I was very, 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 very nervous and very scared because I didn't tell no one. I didn't tell my family. I told my boyfriend. He knew, but it wasn't. I didn't know how serious this was. If that, to speed that up. So July, So what happens is there's multiple types of breast cancer, and this is what people don't know. So people think if you have breast cancer, I have people say, that's the best cancer to have.
Thank you.
Yes. So it was the one cancer that we did not want me to have was the one cancer that I had, which was you have 3 types, and it kind of tells you on what type of treatment they're going to lead you up for. And I had the triple negative breast cancer, which means they don't know what caused it. It's very aggressive, so it spreads very, very fast, and it grows very, very fast. So it can take you out pretty quickly. So when my tumor had started as a small, think of like a really, really small gumball, and then it grew to like the size of a large gumball. So it's just growing. And I'm just fascinated. I'm not knowing because I'm not educated. And that's the thing. So I'm like, touch this. It was pretty, pretty sad when you kind of go back on it. So what happens is on one side of my breast, I had a cancer. So I go back because I have to they do like all the tests, and I had a cyst, which is a benign fibrinoma, in my other breast. And the doctor did the exact same thing. She said, this looks like a fibrinoma. She was a white lady. And I said, ma'am, we're not going to do this go around. Until you have the results, please do not lead me in that direction. And I was very nervous because having cancer in both breasts, I would have to get a mastectomy. And so when she was doing that, she was giving me false hope. And as much as you want false hope, it's not healthy. And so to speed things along, I had which is called triple negative breast cancer. My tumor was, let's think of a small plum, like the size of a plum, but it started out as a very, very small gumball. So it was growing. And I started out at one hospital, but because you need to know, and you hear all these things of, food will cure cancer, and I'm not discrediting that, but people don't know it's different types of cancer. It's different types of breast cancer. So I had stage 3 breast cancer, triple negative, which means if it spread it anymore, because it had spread it to that lymph node that they had tested because it was swollen, it did spread to my lymph node, which puts you one step before stage 4, which it could spread throughout your entire body and wipe you out. So that was July 4th. I did not start chemo until the middle or ending of August. I started chemo 50 days later. That is very dangerous. That's what I wouldn't recommend that for anyone, but I don't regret the decision. I had to change doctors and change hospitals, and I had to be able to advocate for myself and be able to speak with people that was going to be knowledgeable. So those people, they gave the knowledge that the first doctor, they wanted to just give false hope. This is what they didn't want to be realistic. And I was at a place where I really needed people to tell me answers because I needed to know. I didn't know anything about cancer. I didn't know anything about this type of breast cancer. And they were kind of iffy as if they didn't know neither because you don't know what caused it. So they say the environment is what caused that breast cancer. And that's scary because we want something. We want to know, like, it's family history, or it's the way you were eating, or it's because you didn't go to sleep at 8 p.m. or you drunk too. We always need to have a reason. And they didn't have one, and that was okay. So the main thing that I had learned in that journey was you have to be able to advocate for yourself. If you feel something does not feel right in your body, no matter what it is, not just breast, It could be anything dealing with your health. You have to go to the next doctor, get another recommendation, call your insurance to let them know, hey, I reached out because that could have killed me. Yeah. And I'm thankful that the 50 days I was completely vegan at 50 days. I took so many vitamins and my tumor did not grow as much on those 50 days because having that aggressive tumor could make your tumor get larger, if not spread before. Because I need the type of cancer that I had, and I want to stress it because it's multiple types of breast cancer. Chemo is what I felt was beneficial to help me live a longevity for my life. Now, someone else may say that's not going to work for them, and I'm not upset with them. But for my journey, that's what had to happen, and I'm completely fine with that decision. That was a lot. So go ahead.
I thank you for, I've wondered. I've heard a bit of this story, and I thank you so much for being as transparent as you have been on social media and things like that. But I really haven't gotten to talk to you. So I thank you for that. And it's been so educational just to even hear your process, because we all do that, especially being young, it's nothing, you think, and your emphasis on advocating for yourself, I think, is so important. So thank you. So where are you now? You're pregnant. You told us that you're pregnant.
Yes.
What is life for you right now?
Okay, so this is my miracle baby, because the type of chemo that I was on, we didn't know if that was possible. And my doctors weren't that happy that I'm actually having a baby, but they've come around to it. So this is a true blessing for me. So I'm definitely pregnant. I've started my business, which is called Ribbon Goddess. And this month I've done a fundraiser that's doing really, really well. And so what this fundraiser is doing, because I quit my job prior to COVID because I needed to focus on my business, but I didn't know.
So you are Ribbon Goddess full time.
Literally, I'm Ribbon Goddess full time. And so what Ribbon Goddess does, we create boxes. I have 2 boxes. One is called the Journey Box and one is called the Champion Box. The Journey Box is for women who are it's not just women. It's for people who are battling cancer, any form of ribbon. As we know, it's literally so many different stages of ribbons. But this Journey Box is for people who are battling chemo, radiation, or some form of surgery. And what it does is it kind of takes your mind out of your cancer. It's more so of a self-care box. How do you love yourself through this journey? How do you get through this, remember who you are and who you were? Because after cancer, you're not the same. Even though you're chasing your old self, you're not the same. So how do you pick yourself up and continue to move with purpose and help other people and just do, not soak in sorrow? And everyone has a different outlook. I cannot tell someone how to feel. I cannot tell, I'm not doing that. But this box is supposed to help you just like breathe. What are you thankful for? What has helped you? Take a bath, take a soak, breathing aromatherapy can do, things of those natures that when you're battling, you need so much support. And sometimes people don't have those support. So those boxes are made for people for family members to gift. And then you have the Champion Box because I'm a champion. So that's for who we consider warriors, champions. A lot of people will consider them survivors. I don't have an issue with the word survivors. I just feel like you definitely, people think that once you're done with cancer, you're done with cancer. And it's not. It's a mental thing. You will never be done with cancer because you're always constantly you're hoping it never comes back. Mm-hmm. And it's like a war story. People, that like, oh, I was here, and they want to tell their war stories. And sometimes that's not positive and it's not helpful. So it's like, I tell people I'm not there anymore. Yeah, I remember that. And I do have a bunch of side effects, but it's no point for me to focus on that. So that Champion Box lets you be able, it doesn't remind you of your cancer. So for breast cancer, there's nothing in it that's pink, because sometimes pink will trigger some people. But, and then you have people like me, I love pink. It's a sisterhood. I didn't ask to be, or it's a bond, a hood because men are diagnosed with breast cancer as well, that I didn't ask to be a part of, but I'm so grateful to be a part of, if that makes any sense. It's kind of like a love-hate relationship. And so that's what I'm working on. So that those boxes really just take you out of like the mindset of I had cancer or I have cancer. And it's more so like, let me love me. How do I love myself? Let me write myself a note, put it in a bottle and trash it. Let me write myself a note and burn it. Let me have daily affirmations. Like I had my friends, they wrote things for me like this. I had this box that that we went to school with. She wrote all these different quotes on them. And she said, whenever you having a bad day or you just need some type of motivation, you open this box and you pull it out. And then as time go on, you write new ones. And so that's like one of the main things that I have in the box is for people it's 10 in there, but write your own as well. And it helps. And yes, I did have support. I had amazing family. I have amazing friends. I had an amazing boyfriend. I had so much support via like social media that you just really, you don't understand how that can push you through. When I say family, I mean my mom and dad, not just my siblings. I don't want any problems. Like my siblings, my stepmoms, like everyone, like my family, like that's a family. And cook for me. I had this one requirement, as we all know. I'm not going to wrap you up. You all know about the love languages. I'm pretty sure people have heard of this. Mine was gifting. It's really bad. Every week, I went to chemo 22 weeks. I had 22 weeks of chemo.
Wow.
My mom, family, boyfriend, dad, they all had to give me gifts because I told them that I'm battling, and the least they could do, it wasn't like expensive gifts. They were needed, so it's like cards. My mom never missed a chemo, things like my friends, we all took turns. And that's why it's sad with COVID because, you cannot bring these people there with you. So that's what I'm in the process of. And I'm also right now, I'm an entrepreneur for Ribbon Goddess. I'm about to be a mom. I'm a student because I'm taking classes right now to finish up things. This is me now. And I'm so happy. I'm in like the best place of my life. I kind of have a glow.
But you do. Oh, you are beaming. You are beaming.
So I don't want to wrap like you up, but that's what Ribbon Goddess is. Ribbon Goddess is really, we all know like mental awareness, like mental health. So eventually as we grow, we won't just focus on the cancers. We'll focus on how do you get your mental health? But this is where I'm starting is because that's the community that I connect with first.
I love that. You are so inspiring. So inspiring. Always has been. I have to tell y'all, Ranneisha would completely encourage all of my shenanigans back in the day because I don't think I have changed either, but very much. But she would be there and supportive of all of my shenanigans, and I absolutely loved her. It would all be good and positive, right?
Yeah, they're all good and positive. I don't want to put you on blast, but my name is Misha Green.
I knew you were gonna do it.
But that is my favorite one. Let me do it. Can I?
You gotta do it. Okay.
My name is Misha Green. I'm only 15. I eat linguine. My favorite color is green. This was us in freshman and 9th grade high school, guys. So we've come along.
That is the absolute truth. And I still remix that song to this day as needed. Sadly, my age doesn't rhyme with green anymore, but
it's okay.
But I make it work. So you also, I've seen, obviously you just talked to us about the Journey Box, the Champion Box, and all the amazing things that you're doing with the Ribbon Goddess. But can you also tell us a little bit about some of the fundraising as well. I saw that there's ways that we can support the things that you're doing.
Yes. So I have a product list. So I'm creating masks. As we all know, everyone's wearing masks. It's not an N95 mask, but it can definitely go over top of an N95 mask. I have masks. I have pins. I have lapel pins. Oh, look on this side. Lapel pins. Lapel pins. Writing pens, stylus pens, and I'm accepting donations, which surprisingly I've had maybe over $2,000 worth of donations. So like the goal that we've had for the month of October and then into the month of November has been actually tripled. Thankfully for the amount of support. So donations and purchases for people who want to purchase, because like I tell people, I'm so grateful for the donations. I'm so grateful for everything. But the main thing is, and just by wearing something pink is not the only way to spread awareness. However, you wearing your lapel pin one day randomly out of the month after October, it lets you know that you're supporting people who are fighting, who have fought, and who are not here anymore. Breast cancer will and is like the number 2 killer for, especially in women. And so that awareness just lets people know, like, you may see a person who they battled secretly and they see you with that pen and it makes them smile inside. And it's other ways to support besides just the pink, just the pink ribbon. So that's how you can. I have an Instagram. It's at the.ribbon.goddess. And I have my flyer there, and on my flyer it explains what we're doing and what it's for and what all the proceeds will go and what it will do and how to make a purchase and how to make a donation. And Ribbon Goddess is just so thankful for the amount of support that we have been receiving, and it's just a blessing. And even I'm so happy that I was even able to have the time and even asked to be able to do this, because October we have been swamped. And it's me and my mom, and we are in the sweatshop, literally getting it done for people to be able to just show awareness. And October, breast cancer is like the number 1. It has like everything. So just be able to wear your pin in October. Just know, everyone know, that after October, this journey does not stop for a lot of us. Yeah. So even after October, you don't have to stop. In October, we know breast cancer is not the only thing in October. So yeah.
I am just so proud of you. And I have to say, and shout out your mom, who you're working hard with. I love your Instagram post when she's like, she is a slave worker. She works so hard. And I'm cracking up. But I love that, because you're ensuring that everything is getting done. And for you to say that you've exceeded your expectations, tripled it, is just so amazing. And you got to get that done. I want to shout out all the people who are tuning in. Thank you so much. We really appreciate you. And I just want to, okay, so Renetta T. Henderson says good morning, and she's also shared it. So thank you. Sharing is caring. Suzetta Chance says good morning. Love you, Ranneisha. Mina Daniel said morning and congratulations. Diamond Champion said woo, who's also a sharer. So thank you, Diamond, for sharing. And she says woo, miracle baby. Marcella Champion said, did you have support? What you answered. Is Marcella your mom?
Marcella is my dramatic mom.
I love her.
Yes.
I love it. So she made sure she asked that question. Did you have support? But you did give a shout out to her and all your huge village. Dwayne H. Champion Bay says, I'm proud of you, Nene. Marcella says, excellent interview and beautiful ladies. Thank you, Mom. And then it also says my dad is watching with me. So hi, Dad. But yes, I really am so inspired by you and your journey. So, what's next for you? Like you said, October does not end breast cancer awareness. We should be talking about this 24/7, particularly in the Black community, with how many of us are affected and the huge health disparities. So what's next?
So what's next is one, getting the ribbon goddess boxes completely out there, and also being able, like with COVID. So last year I was able to speak at Howard University with the Good Girl movement, and the goal is to be able to speak with young women that's in school or outside of school, starting as young as 18, just to educate them, to make them aware that this can happen to any of us. We are not exempt, even if we don't have any person in our life. We're not exempt. So how do we advocate? How do we do it without coming off as being the angry Black woman? And so that's what's next, is just being able to go and speak to colleges, speak to people like you and the viewers, and just because you're never too old, but we have to start it off young, and to get to the people, get to these recreation centers, get to these neighborhoods, get to these colleges, these businesses, and just educate people and truly educate them on how to advocate for themselves, regardless of what setting, regardless if it's cancer, if it's gynecology, if it's mental health, if it's a therapist that's not working for you, if it's a job that's not working for you. Because when you're advocating, you use that, and it'll take you anywhere. Because once you advocate for yourself and you learn how to do it, you'll always do it, So that's what's next. So hopefully when in the new year, you'll see a lot of ribbon goddesses. Next year, you may have me back with Afro News, and then you'll meet Baby Love, and we'll have boxes to show and examples and things, and we'll always be fundraising and donating when it comes to breast cancer. So for every one mask that was even purchased, I will be taking down to the chemo center that I went to and dropping into the boxes for the women that would like them for the boxes. Like, that's how it works. You have to give back and you have to educate, because if you don't, then we stay in this circle of not knowing.
You are so inspiring. That's the word for you. I am so proud of you, and I thank you so much for being so transparent and telling your story and using your experiences to educate and empower others. Not everybody could do that, and just the positivity that you have really, I think, helps a lot of people. So thank you so much.
Thank you for having me, Misha. I'm so proud of you as well. I'm happy to see you grow and to see your genuine spirit. Like, people need to know that you're not putting on the front. Like, you're genuinely a happy, nice, easygoing person. And that's amazing. And that's how you're able to get these energies out of people. Like, when they watch your interviews and they see that you're really able to pull this out of people, because it's who you are. So thank you Afro News, for even having me. I appreciate and love y'all so much.
Well, thank you. And she's already told us she will be back, everybody. And
catch me next year.
I need to see Baby Love as she is talking to us about some of the amazing things that Ribbon Goddess is doing in 2021. And again, as you all know, we are the Black Media Authority. So stay tuned for more that we have. Follow Ribbon Goddess. It's at the.ribbon.goddess, correct?
Yes.
Everything.
Support the fundraiser. It's not over just yet. October is still here. And even after October, we still will be doing this.
Yes. And as we have in the caption here, breast cancer warrior, support this breast cancer warrior and all that she's doing. And sorry, I'm seeing that people are saying something. So Dad said, keep doing your thing, baby. Love you. Oh, I love this. Thank you, everybody. I'm seeing some other people are tuning in, but for some reason it's not allowing me. I don't know why. But anyway, guys, I think, oh, here we go. Eugenia Bailey says, I'm watching you. And she has a lovely spirit. Thank you. And thank you to just everybody. We really, really appreciate it. We are the Black Media Authority. Support the Ribbon Goddess. Support everybody. And remember, share this. You can always share this. It'll be here forever. And sharing is caring. And this is such an important subject. Self-check. Take your health seriously. Take care.
Take care later.
Bye.